least 43 people have been killed and hundreds more injured in a wave of suicide bombs on a pair of mosques in the Yemeni capital of Sana'a. A local TV station says that as many as 137 people were killed in the bombings. Global security firm and NBC News consultant Flashpoint confirms that ISIS is claiming responsibility for the attacks.
Our guest is former decorated CIA career officer, former station chief, who was part of the response to the 9/11 attacks. Always a pleasure to welcome Gary Berntsen back to MidPoint. Gary, pleasure to see you again.
Pleasure to be with you, Ed.
Let's unfortunately update the numbers that we just heard. Now from Yemen, 126 are dead, 260 plus are wounded in these suicide attacks. And again, as noted here, ISIS has taken responsibility. But do we need to just take a breath for a moment and realize that it would seem that ISIS is the sort of organization that will take responsibility for anything it can at this point?
That is agreed, but Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula has stated that they didn't do it, which is interesting because they usually take responsibility for such things. We're witnessing sectarian war across the Middle East. And ISIS is a phenomenon because it owns territory. That's the difference between it and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a network, but ISIS is a nation state, a caliphate. It is attracting converts every place. And Yemen is the newest location where a group now may have conducted a violent terrorist attack in the name of ISIS, or they may have operatives on the ground. We're not sure. It's very early yet.
Well, let's look at that. Let's look at that because we constantly hear this and we hear connected groups to ISIS. Honestly, though, what does that mean? Does that mean somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, or how really tight to the actual nexus of ISIS could they be?
What is occurring is Islamic Salafist groups around the world are swearing loyalty to the concept of a caliphate. Bin Laden in his ideology in the creation of Al-Qaeda talked about, one day there would be a caliphate. Well, it's here. And that caliphate is here, and it has sought to incorporate militant Salafist Islamists all over the world. And many of them are falling in line, as you've had Boko Haram, you've had Ansar Bait al-Maqdis in the Sinai Peninsula, you've had groups in the PAK Afghan theater, which have sworn allegiance to ISIS, and now possibly this first group and we've had them in Libya too, but now we've got a first group in Yemen. These are disturbing trends that are occurring. The United States has not laid out a plan, a really effective plan to fight ISIS or its ideology. And we are merely witnesses to horrific violence. The United States is playing a minimal role in this, in combating ISIS at this point.
Gary, I got about 90 seconds left. Would we be looking possibly here at a change in tactics by ISIS, perhaps knowing that the battlefields are starting to draw down, and this, I hate to say that, in many ways is an easier attack?
Of course, this is a easier place for them. There is where chaos occurs, whether it be Libya or Yemen, ISIS and their followers are able to fill the vacuum, organize, and conduct horrific attacks in the name of ISIS to help the caliphate attract more people, to gain more space on the map in the Middle East. And these are very, very disturbing developments, and we are seeing disturbing developments across, Iraq and Syria. Still, it gets worse. The situation on a daily basis in the Middle East is deteriorating.
30 seconds left. We already know Al-Qaeda is operating in Yemen. Now we potentially have ISIS and other groups there. Are they looking for a home?
Well, they're looking to fight the Iranians. They're looking to counter. 1/3 of the population of Yemen are Shiites, and the Houthis have seized control there. And it is their effort to push them out, to resist Shia control. They're apostates, and this is part of the sectarian war that is waging across the Middle East.
And that global war to create that caliphate, which we are now seeing in front of our eyes, and all of these different groups getting together. We are looking at a frightening time in our global society at this point coming up, and it's, matter of fact, it is here. Gary Berntsen, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Great to speak with you, Ed.
All right, take care. Again, the update from Yemen, 126 are known dead at this moment, 260 plus are wounded. Now, a land where we were told our military would soon be out. Now comes the reality of Afghanistan. Another reality. On MidPoint.